Hi, and welcome back to this third video in the series for the Community Renewable Energy Grant Program. In this video series, we are going through the key application sections for the construction opportunity announcements to help applicants focus on what are some of the key application sections and questions that relate to the the competitive review scoring criteria that you'll find in those opportunity announcements. And again, my name is Jason with the CREP program, and I'll be joined here with my colleague Clay. And with that, we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. Again, we want to make sure you're in the right location here. So these are covering the construction applications. And in this section, we're going to jump into section 6 for the project description, which is a key and critical area of the applications.
One note before you dive in, Jason, is I'd like to remind folks that as we get into these more involved sections, section 6, 7, and 8, if you have not stopped and read through the entire opportunity announcement of the grant that you're interested in, please do so now, even before finishing this video or immediately after watching the video. But importantly, before you start working on an online application, if you will make sure that you have reviewed the opportunity announcement in its entirety and go to our website and pull down the appropriate application user guide, that also will allow you to see all of the questions in order. And because there is a lot of overlapping questions and some questions will feel like they're duplicate questions, they really aren't. And that's part of why we're doing these videos to explain those areas. But you'll be way ahead of the game if you read through those and become familiar offline with everything before you begin filling out your online application. Thanks, Jason.
No, thank you. Thank you. That's great information. To make sure to go in and look at that information. And then another reminder is to go through these videos in their series. They follow the application. But to Clay's point, in this particular presentation series of videos, we're pulling out key application questions, not every application question. And to Clay's point, you will in the user guide see every single question for the application. But we'll go ahead and get moving through these slides and this section 6. I just wanted to do a quick program notice, and that's that on all of the application questions, when you see an application question that's related to the term project, that is referring to your renewable energy system or renewable energy system with resilience only. We're not talking about a broader project, a full-on construction building project, renovation, etc. And this also includes any of those questions throughout the application that are requesting details related to project leaders, teams, schedules, finances, your outreach, even the community benefit impacts. These are about this specific project for the construction installation of your community renewable energy system. And the broader details of those, you can include some of that information, but that's usually going to come in some of your supporting documentation as you're answering these questions about that particular system. And with that, we'll go ahead and jump right in. In the Section 6 project description, one of the key questions here that you're going to find is briefly describe A, the site where this proposed renewable energy system will be located, B, provide an assessment of the suitability of the site, enter who the site owner is as C, or list all if it's a shared ownership. If you as the applicant are not the site owner, you definitely want to describe the progress in securing that site control. There will be a little bit more information, a form to fill out some other details in this question. But the one thing I wanted to point out is, again, we'll say this many times in this video series, is that your application is going in front of a competitive review process of external reviewers, ODO team members. You're preparing this application for them to view, and then they'll be scoring those replies and responses and the information. In this case, when you see some of these more compound questions of A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, probably best to answer as A, B, C. Keep that organized. Makes it easier for the reviewers to review your project, keeps that consolidated. Clay, did you have anything you wanted to add there?
Well, that ties into the competitive review scoring criteria. So make sure you look at that, and it has 100 points, and where those points are divided out between all of the application areas. And this question in particular get scored under the strength of project area of the scoring criteria. And what Jason just said about having complete answers that match the question, especially on the complicated questions, is important to get the highest score possible.
Absolutely. Thanks, Clay. Moving forward, another question you'll find, which is also a priority scoring opportunity on the application. This is describe any prior investments in energy efficiency measures at the project location, or how, if at all, the proposed project will result in aggregate improvements to demand response capabilities. This is one of those questions where we are looking for specific examples of prior investments in energy efficiency measures at this particular project location that this particular proposed project is being submitted for. And some of the examples of that would be evidence to, as utility investments, various energy trust documentation, financial statements, or something of that kind. Clay, do you have anything you want to add here?
So you can look for this question in the scoring criteria there under prior investments, and it's its own block. It has its own points assigned to it. So pay attention to that. And then also just to clarify, because we've had this a couple of times, and this is in our question and answer section on the website, that this is referring to prior investments only. If investments are part of, or efficiency is part of the project itself or a related larger construction project, that doesn't meet this criteria. Just want to clarify that point.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great point, Clay. As we continue moving forward through the Section 6 key questions, we come to this one. This is a very important one to really pay attention to each piece of this question, and that is, please provide a summary overview of the project. Include technologies, major components, configuration, and use. Do not include detailed specification, as those will be entered. Those are entered in the following areas. Include descriptions of any engineering studies or calculations and planning already done. And what we are looking for here is a succinct but a summary overview of the entire project, which is including those technologies you're planning to use, whether that be just solar or wind or what have you, and any of the major system components within the renewable energy project and or within the resilience component of that. And I'll turn it over to Clay. I know he has more on this one.
Yep, this one is, again, like you said, just that summary, because details are asked for in follow-on questions. So, for example, if you go to the grantee list that's on our website for round one, we summarize each grantee's project, and that's sort of the thing we're looking for: the technology used, the size of the project, and who it's going to be serving and where it's located. That type of who, what, where, when, why is what we're looking for in this question. And this is part of the overall strength of your application scoring criteria. So it's in a group that adds up to the largest scoring block in the application of 45 points out of 100.
That's a good point. I just want to make one additional note. You'll see in the application guidance that, design, engineering studies, technical drawings, et cetera, from your planning phase, all of these types of things for additional support can be uploaded as supporting materials for this summary. And as we continue on, another one of our aspects in the criteria for under the project description is going to be, please list the technical specifications of all major system components, include make, model, and quantities of each of these major pieces, system, equipment, or components. And in addition, we want to see the inclusion of warranty information and confirm the warranty and these technical details, but also this helps us confirm that the system will operate for at least 5 years. We certainly understand supply chain issues are a little off right now, both in the United States and globally. What we're looking for here is your best case scenario or specific where you're at right now. We know this could change a little bit later down the road. But we are also looking at here is major system equipment and components. We're not getting down into the minutia of J boxes, type of wiring, etc. This is your major pieces. And Clay, do you want to add some more there?
Well, this again is the details of this answer and the clarity that you provide goes toward the scoring of your project strength. And so how well you have that planned and laid out and the details that you provide are fantastic. A lot of the round one applications made notes that what they were providing was representative information because they had not made their final procurement decisions yet. That is completely acceptable as long as the details are there.
Okay, and that does lead into another one of these slides about program notice. As I said just a moment ago, that we understand supply chain issues and final project equipment might differ slightly from what was proposed in the application. However, I do want to point out that because these projects are competitively reviewed, if you are awarded, we will be looking at that final, during a performance agreement or that final assessment of a project, that the project and the components are substantially similar to what was proposed in the project. If it's not, then that is something that could have impacted your competitive review in an earlier stage. So just wanted to make quick note of that. Clay, I don't know if you have anything to add there.
No, the fallout of that would come up in the final determination of eligible costs for your reimbursement, for your grant distribution. So that's the warning there.
Right. Excellent point. As we keep moving through on these key app questions in section 6, we come to another one that's a bit of a compound question. This is please detail a resource assessment demonstrating adequate resource supply for the proposed system operations. The resource assessment must describe A, the type of resource or resources available, B, explain how the applicant evaluated the resource, and C, how the system will access the resource. And again, just as a quick tip, you're writing this to reviewers who are assessing this. The easiest way for them to disseminate this information from the question is in that compounded format, the A through C. In addition, for this round, we have also produced the resource assessment guide, which you'll find under the applicant help tab on the CREP webpage. So definitely use that as a resource prior to filling out the application. I think it'll give you some details of what we would be looking for. And Clay, what would you like to add here?
Yeah, so this is a great place for us to remind folks because normally this is a question that will have supporting documentation with it. Assessments of the power produced and things like that. So put all the information in the text box in the online application and then clearly name and reference your supporting documentations also in that text box. And then you will upload the document that has that matching name that you put in the text box as an uploaded document. So that way all the reviewers can quickly match an answer in the online application with the downloaded document that you've provided, and the names match and the question numbers match and things like that. So it makes the review possible. They cannot review information that they cannot find, and that can affect your score. This resource assessment is lumped in with the strength of project, so it's part of all of the things that have a maximum value of 45 out of 100 points on the strength of application.
Right. And I want to put one additional note here is that within that resource assessment guide, our program does not specifically require any specific type of documentation to support that. We know that within with each industry or sub-industry of renewables, that there are multiple ways of providing this type of information from different companies, different software, et cetera. What we're looking for is that information that you can provide there, but we're not requiring a specific type. Just wanted to make note of that. And we'll go ahead and continue forward in the presentation. This particular question is going to only come up for those projects in the opportunity announcements that are for construction of a renewable energy system with a resilience component to it as well. And that question is, describe the proposed operational use cases for the storage system, including emergency backup power, providing grid services, demand reduction, arbitrage, or any other planned uses. This is another area where for this round, we have produced a basic guide that's available in the applicant help tab. That's the resilience level assessment guide. And the only other piece that we want to make sure we're talking about is when it comes to this resilience component is that we're looking for how this system also is supporting a broader local community benefits that are essential to the public welfare. And Clay, would you like to add anything on this one?
Well, I think we've mentioned that in previous videos that, again, our definitions are very specific to this project. And so make sure that you understand that we repeat it in the language here on essential to the public welfare. That is a key part of our resilience definition for CREP, that it has to provide grid outage services that provide this essential services to the public welfare in an outage. And again, this falls under strength of project description and part of that overall scoring for the strength of your application.
Right. And just as a quick hint, what Clay is referring to, if you did not watch the very first video in this series, the program overview, there is a section where Clay discusses that in terms of our definitions versus what you may find elsewhere, even in the private industry world. So if you haven't already, make sure to go back and check that out. Each one of these videos is helpful, even the overview video as it relates to your application. And we'll continue moving forward here. And in this project description section, this question is, describe the community buildings, infrastructure, or other community assets that will benefit from the proposed system. And, you know, what we're starting to look at here is a question that starts to move into our program priorities and community benefits section, an equity section the equity section of the program. What we're looking for here is to include how the system supports broader local or qualifying environmental justice community benefits, again, that are essential to the public welfare. And Clay, would you like to add anything here?
Well, this is an example of where questions sort of overlap. And so that's why I want you to take your time to prepare individual answers for each question before you've read them for the first time, because you may get to this question to say, oh, I answered this completely in the previous question, because they are sort of similar. And so make that distinction and read the questions carefully out of the application user guides. And that way you prepare ahead of time and get the right language with the right question.
Excellent. Yeah. And can't agree more. Just want to pause, or I'm sorry, we want to come to the conclusion of this one. Just reminding everyone again, reading the opportunity announcements, reading the competitive review scoring criteria, going through the helpful information, the tips and the guides that are available on the website, even going through the legislation itself and the rules for the program for your particular project opportunity announcements. These are all vital to your success, we think, with the application. Clay, do you have any other things that you'd like to add here as we're wrapping this up?
Nope. Thanks, Jason.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, thank you again for joining us for this video on Section 6, and we hope you'll keep moving forward. Our next video will be over the project plan, and we look forward to seeing you in that one. Thank you very much.